Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Ursarctic Dogmatika. Now, the Dogmatika engine should be pretty self-explanatory, but Ursarctic, it gets a lot of hate for literally going neg 29 to make its elementary plays. But now we have a new card, Ursarctic Departure, that just boosts the consistency by 10 trillion. What it does, it's able to add to Ursarctics from deck to hand, and also has the effect in the graveyard where it can banish itself for the cost of an Ursarctic monster instead of having to go neg and tribute a monster in your hand. So Ursarctics, they need a lot of hand fodder to get going. But you know, Departure, not only does it get you access to the certain Ursarctics that are able to retrieve that advantage they lost in hand fodder, they're also able to do more. So we're going to start off with activating Ursarctic Departure, discarding any card. This is just a random Jaws, man. It was a funny one. It's a Water Beast Warrior, I guess. It's synergy with the deck. So now we're going to be searching a Myctanus and a Megatnus. Now we'll just treat this as any random Ursarctic. We don't care what it is. This can also just be any level 7 or higher monster in general. So now we're going to go ahead, activate Myctanus, tribute the Megatnus, and then we'll be able to summon it. You'll activate Myctanus' effect in order to retrieve the Megatnus, and then you'll use the effect of Megatnus, tributing whatever extra Ursarctic you have to summon itself. Now we'll go into Polari. Polari will use its effect in order to activate a Big Dipper from your deck. Big Dipper allows you to banish, once per turn, banish a Ursarctic from your graveyard for the cost of another Ursarctic, and we'll use Polari's second effect, which is able to tribute a level 7 or higher to summon a Ursarctic from your graveyard. You can also add back an Ursarctic from your graveyard to your hand, but nobody uses that effect. We're going to banish that extra random Ursarctic we had earlier in order to summon the Megatnus. Now we'll go into Serpentrion and pass. Basically what we end on, not much. Ursarctic, it's a pretty format dependent deck, to be honest. It has an absolutely awful matchup versus any sort of control strategy, and realistically can't do anything versus them. But against a more combo oriented deck, a more link climbing sort of strategy, Ursarctic can really shine, because Serpentrion, it's able to it's basically skill drain for all monsters that don't have a level from the extra deck. So you have link monsters and Xyz monsters, and as I said, link climb decks, they are really heavily affected by this. And Big Dipper is practically Nibiru since it has 2 counters right now. As soon as your opponent summons 5 times, you'll be able, after that, whenever you want, you'll be able to mind control any of their monsters. And oh yeah, it does target, unfortunately. And Serpentrion also gets you a bit of follow-up. When your opponent special summons a monster, you're able to add an Ursarctic card from your deck to your hand. So with this, you're probably able to just add another Departure from your deck to your hand, and then you can realistically just do this every single turn. It's absolutely insane. So that's kind of your mainline combo with Departure plus any discard plus any Ursarctic monster. So I'll just get to the in-depth deck profile now. Right here we have the deck. Deck split into the level 8 tuners and the level 7 non-tuners. Ursarctic, they're like negative synchro stuff. So the main kind of reasoning behind the ratios is that we run 3 of each level 7 because every single level 7 is able to generate advantage. Well, except Mike-Billis, but Mike-Billis technically stops you from losing advantage since you don't have to tribute a level 7 or higher monster for one of the other Ursarctic effects. So I'll get started. We first have the level 8s, 2 Megabilis, 2 Megapola, and 3 Megatnus. All of them, they realistically have the same effect. All of them are quick effects to summon themselves from the hand, and all of them, when they're summoned, they offer some sort of disruption. So Megabilis is able to DD Crow, Megapola is able to just destroy a spell trap, and Megatnus is a Book of Moon, and being able to disrupt that monster is a bit better for obvious reasons, since Yu-Gi-Oh is a more monster-oriented game. So Megatonus, that's the only real 3-up, and we're running both of these at 2 because you need the names, you need the ability to just tribute off monsters and keep on generating advantage that way. Next up we have our level 7's Mikpola. Mikpola is able to add an Ursarctic from your deck to your hand, which is really cool, so that it gets advantage that way. Megatonus is able to add an Ursarctic from your graveyard to your hand, so realistically you are still getting advantage. All of these effects are on summon, by the way. And Mikbilis is able to summon another Ursarctic from your hand, so even though it doesn't necessarily go plus, it stops you from going minus, because the other Ursarctics will have to tribute another card, another monster in your hand to summon themselves, so you kind of just save that card with the effect of Mikbilis. All of your level 8s have a pretty decent attack stat, and all the level 7s have pretty high defense. Next up we have the triple departure. This is the new one. It's able to add 2 Ursarctics from your deck to your hand, obviously. Ursarctic is such a neggy archetype. I think this card could like just not have the discard 1 card cost, and could potentially just, you know, have no cost whatsoever to add 2 cards. I would still be somewhat underpowered, I guess, since Ursarctic needs so many resources to get their plays going. We have the triple Ursarctic slider. This is another really important card, since it's able to summon one of your Ursarctics from your graveyard, and with that ability you're just able to save yourself from going any more neg. So any 2 Ursarctics plus Ursarctic slider basically just gives you a free Polari, and then Polari gives you a free Serpentrion or a Grand Chariot if you're going second. Next up we have the one dipper. The only reason why we're running this at 1, even though it does have the positive effect of being able to like kind of change the cost of your Ursarctics, where you can just banish an Ursarctic from your graveyard instead of tributing one in your hand. It's at 1 because it's searchable, super searchable off Polari, and you don't realistically need that extra copy, since the extra copies will become redundant once you use one. So just one of it. The 2 Quint Charge, you know, having 2 Quint Charge is pretty cool, I guess. I really like the first effect. It's not good by any means, but it is really cool. It makes it so that any and all resources they have cannot be any more than 7, and this includes their hand, field, and their graveyard, so you can absolutely purge their graveyard. You can even hand loop if they want to keep their field, or you can just bust open their field. And you also have the effect to retrieve Ursarctics from your graveyard, and you can even quick synchro on your opponent's turn, your main target being Grand Chariot, being able to pop 2 cards on the field when synchro summoned. Well, not synchro summoned, it's more special summon, but you know, they can't be summoned anyway either. So Quint Charge, the main reason why it's only at 2, it's because the Dogmatika punishment does lock you out of the extra deck, so you're not able to use its second effect, so you're usually just going to use this effect to retrieve stuff. Next up we have the one for the least, you know, for Dogmatika stuff. Triple Ecclesia for the Dogmatika stuff. You have really easy access to that monster special summon from the extra deck. You have that 1 copy of Disciple of the Nadir. Nadir obviously just generates even more advantage, sending Titanic Cloud, and you can get 2 pops and an extra deck negate. Yeah, and that extra deck negate is generally just for fusion and synchro, since Serpentrion does take care of the links and exceeds anyways, so it does kind of make Fleur-de-Lis a bit more useless, unfortunately. You have Dogma punishment. Punishment being the broken card it is, just send to pop. You pop everything your opponent has. You even have the 3k attack target in Serpentrion, which is cool. And finally, for a more generic card, you have triple Ash Blossom, triple Prosperity. Ash Blossom, just another super good card. And Prosperity, I'm not using Extravagance, because you really don't. You need the ability to specifically select which names you're getting. Like, you don't want to end up with 3 level 8s in your hand, or too many level 7s and almost no level 8s. You want to have a good balance of them, so disparity really does help in achieving that balance. Plus your extra deck is really lenient, so disparity is pretty cool. Next up we have our extra deck, 1 Titanic Clad, 2 Natis, 1 Omega. It's pretty self-explanatory just because of, you know, the Dogmatika package. Next up we have the 2 Serpentrion, 2 Grand Chariot, triple Polari. Since you're able to go into the Ursarctic plays pretty much every turn, thanks to stuff like Quint Charge and Serpentrion's second effect, it's nice to have multiples of each of them. And Polari, having a Polari face upon the field is pretty cool, being able to use its effect to revive a Ursarctic from your graveyard every turn, one of the level 7s, and then that level 7 gains advantage. A lot of people do just say Ursarctic does lose a ton of advantage, but that's really only during the short term, because turn 2 or 3 you are just snowballing an advantage. After that, Polari summoning stuff from graveyard, all your level 7s gaining advantage. Quint Charge adds stuff back from hand. Serpentrion adds stuff from deck to hand. You only really gain that advantage when you have the setup, and people don't really respect that about Ursarctic, and it's kind of my second favorite deck from Ancient Guardians. I absolutely hate Ancient Guardians, but at least this deck is cool. For links, the links, I didn't really want to put them since all the Ursarctics lock you out of links, but during like turn maybe 5, being able to get access to your generic toolbox is very important. Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, very important card. If you're able to use this effect to gain 1500 attack, as soon as you resolve that, there are very few decks in the game that can out this card. I mean, it's technically a worse Dragoon, but at least you don't have to run those horrible bricks, right? The access code, it's very difficult to get the access code on field, but when you do, it's very rewarding. The Coral Anemone, if you're able to get 2 of your Ursarctics on the field, you're able to like go into Coral Anemone and then selectively get a certain Ursarctic on the field. You're even able to, I believe it doesn't negate its effects. Yep, doesn't negate the effects, and the only targets are your level 7 or lowers, so you're just able to generate advantage off them like you normally would. And finally, the 1 Nightmare Phoenix for just a generic back row pop. So that is kind of the deck. I really like it, to be honest. I like the concept of Ursarctic, where even though it does have heavy costs in the short term, you're able to get so much of that advantage back during a long term period. It's just absolutely insane. Let me hear your thoughts on the deck and Ancient Guardians in general down below. And before signing off, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I'll be seeing you next time. Goodbye.